So we talk about aggregation, information, compliance, regulations, volatility, economic climates. Where's technology fitting in with that? How do we line up technology with all of this information? Where is it moving from an AI or a machine learning perspective? Because to me, that there's no borders when it comes to AI. There's no real true regulation activity. So it must in itself have implications from a financial laundering and sanctions perspective.
No, certainly technology and AI has a major impact on empowering humans in detecting suspicious transactions and actually in being more proactive than reactive. So being able to identify patterns than, for instance, humans would not be able to necessarily detect, but they will be able to dig deeper. So one use we have seen, for instance, with artificial intelligence in terms of reducing false positives and empowering individuals or being able to identify pattern. Technology is very important, of course, but it's not the panacea. It's not the necessarily the solution. It will be just an accelerator of I would say a dynamic which is already in place. So what I was saying about what we're working on, if you take the example of criminals, I was saying business is becoming more complex. There are companies, think of the identifying shell companies, for instance, which could be considered red flag. And we use data, but also we use analytics and technology to be able to identify those shell companies which are legitimate business, but they can be used for illegitimate purposes, right? One such misuse is, for instance, to obscure the true ownership of a business from law enforcement authorities, to perpetrate, for instance, a fraud or for sanctions evasion, escaping, circumventing sanctions restrictions. Now, this can be achieved in many ways, for instance, by appointing concurrent nominee directors who sit in many boards supplied by the company information agent with mass address registration. So you have many companies registered to the same address, or you have businesses, for instance, that they have no directors, for instance, or nominees. So all of these red flags, if you don't use technology as well, you might probably miss some of these signals. And just to give you a concrete example, so there was a notable case involving a Russian individual. Now, this individual operated a company formation agency based in the Seychelles, which assisted approximately 800 Russian nationals potentially evading sanctions or taxes in establishing shell companies. So how you identify those 800 Russian nationals, how you identify those potential shell companies? Well, you need the data, you need analytics, but you also need technology that helps you to identify and detect these suspicious patterns. So I see, I see it as an accelerator more than, a drastic revolution, in my opinion.